8 hybrid creatures that emerged in the wild and resemble a science fiction movie. One of the new species is a challenge to polar bears standing on a frozen coastline in the Canadian Arctic. Humped shoulders, long claws, the build of a grizzly, but its fur is almost white. Well, this here is a grizzly daddy and a polar bear mommy, and it was born in the wild. Not a lab experiment, not a zoo accident. Here are 2 species that were never supposed to bump into each other that are setting up house together. And this bear is just the start. Eventually you come upon an actual dolphin in the open Atlantic Ocean. And not just some hybrid, but a completely new species. No human involvement, no captivity. Pure ocean. One such Canuck hunter blew away what he thought was a polar bear in 2006, near Sax Harbor in Canada's Northwest Territories. The hump on its back, however, told a different tale. A tale of grizzly. The claws said grizzly. Polar bear, the pale fur and long-snouted skull. DNA said so. The first grizzly polar hybrid born in the wild ever recorded. The Pizzly Bear. Grizzlies push north as Arctic ice decreases. Polar bears have opted to spend more time on land. Their territories collide. 8 hybrids have since been genetically identified, all descended from the same female polar bear as our first specimen. Some of her descendants then bred to grizzlies again, producing second-generation hybrids. 3/4 grizzly, 1/4 polar bear. Creatures stomping around the tundra that the ancient rules of biology could never have fathomed. The tundra is rewriting itself, but the ocean has been doing this for longer than you have. A skull found in a drawer in a museum in Copenhagen 30 years later? In 2019, scientists managed to get its DNA. 54% beluga, 46% narwhal. A hybrid born off the coast of Greenland, the Narluga. No tusk. This time, it was with bizarre protruding teeth twisted from the bottom jaw. Teeth that neither parent has. Isotope analysis showed that this animal was not eating in the same way as a narwhal or a beluga. Those weird tooth scoops were for scraping food off the ocean floor. A new body, a new diet, made by a one-time meeting of 2 species that split 5 million years ago. Head south, to a little volcanic speck in the Galápagos called Plaza Sur, just over 1/10 of a square mile. And on that, 2 iguana species, separated by more than 10 million years of evolution, mating together. The dark, flat-tailed marine iguana, made for diving into the frigid Pacific. The land iguana, yellow-brown and thick-limbed, a cactus eater. On Plaza Sur, they are so densely packed that breeding times overlap. The result? A black and gold hybrid iguana with pointy swimming claws and a jaw strong enough to pulverize land plants. Built for 2 worlds. Modeled to be barren. Nature's failed experiment, of which each one is devoid of permanent implications. But proof here that the barriers between species are much thinner than any diagram will imply. If this is blowing your mind, click that thumbs up so more people discover this video. Now come closer to home, maybe even a few miles from you while you're reading this. The Coywolf, the eastern coyote, a genetic hybrid confirmed to be partly western coyote, partly eastern wolf, and partly domestic dog. Coyotes traveled east as settlers extirpated wolves over much of eastern North America, and during this journey, coyotes transmitted genes to the last wolves in North America. Throw in a little canine DNA somewhere in the middle. What you ended up with? A 30 to 40 pound canid that had a wider skull and longer legs, plus a behavioral flexibility neither parent could match. One night, it hunts deer in packs. The next, it scavenges suburban trash by itself. Millions of them. Toronto to Washington, D.C. Not a curiosity. A permanent predator, still evolving. Can a hybrid go further? Not only survive, but become an entirely different species. Yes, a Clymene dolphin swimming in the Atlantic now. Then there is the mystery of the dolphin from Rajan, which scientists believed was a subspecies of the spinner dolphin for decades. But a 2014 genetic analysis turned up the facts. Its nuclear DNA is primarily from the spinner dolphin. It had striped dolphin mitochondrial DNA, inherited only from the mother. It was a hybridization of the genomes of 2 species in the open ocean. The offspring thrived, formed their own pods, stopped interbreeding with either parent, but they are forced to develop their own night hunting method and aim at squid that emerge from deep every evening. The sole case of hybrid speciation confirmed in any marine mammal anywhere on this planet. Leave a comment. Which hybrid has amazed you the most so far? Now go deeper, into the Amazon, to a bird that disappeared for 45 years, the golden-crowned Manakin. spotted in Brazil in 1957, then gone. No sightings until 2002. It was confirmed in 2017 when a Toronto team sequenced 16,000 markers, 80% opal-crowned Manakin, 20% snow-capped Manakin, a hybrid species. One parent has a blue crown, the other has a white cap. The golden-crowned Manakin has a vivid yellow, which is not found in either of the parents. Yellow is thought to have evolved as a signal for sex among potential mates, in a way to say, I am not my mother's species. I am not my father's. I am something new. It is not as if evolution fused two birds together. It invented a color. From the jungle to the countryside of Italy, the Italian sparrow, all over, altogether dull, pillowed on rooftops residence by residence throughout the peninsula. Geneticists in 2011 demonstrated that this common bird is, in fact, a hybrid stabilized between the house sparrow and the Spanish sparrow. The species does not interbreed with either parent. Millions of them, on every street, and almost nobody knows. And that brings us up to the last creature, the Wholphin. They say a false killer whale is a big old dolphin, 14 feet, 2,000 pounds. The bottlenose is the most common, weighing in at 6 feet and as much as 400 pounds. They swim as a team in the clear water of the Pacific, and very rarely they mate. The best-known Wholphin, Kekai Malu, was born in 1985 at Sea Life Park in Hawaii. 66 teeth, diagonal between the 100-plus teeth of the bottlenose and the 44 of the false killer whale. Halfway body size of both parents, and she was fertile. She produced calves. Kawili Kai, her calf, was 3/4 bottlenose, 1/4 false killer whale. A healthy second-generation hybrid. However, Wholphins have also been seen in the wild, off Hawaii, in the open ocean. Two organisms that diverged from one another millions of years ago, producing viable offspring who can, by themselves, produce further generations with no involvement from humans whatsoever. 8 creatures. It is data fed in from times before the dawn of the internet. 8 evolutionary divergences pulled apart by millions of years. Every one of them real. One idea that is long ago is that species are fixed categories. Clean borders, permanent walls. These animals destroy that idea. The bear on the melting ice, the dolphin that created its own species, the bird that created a brand new color. The borders are not walls, they are membranes. But life does not just persist when climates change, when habitats get smaller, when two populations are crammed into the same little box. It improvises. The question now is no longer, can hybrids be done? Whether this is the start of a genetic remix that might completely rewrite ecosystems quicker than we might have ever expected. If you want to look at what ecologies conjure up next, subscribe, because next week we are descending into the ocean's deepest trenches to hunt creatures living where life shouldn't be possible at all. See you there.